I was going to set up a review to review Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. Seeing the reviews and how people are... I was looking through Rotten Tomatoes reviews and stuff, and I really liked... oh, by the way, this is After Work Nerd Out. I'm Alex. I'm going to be doing some sort of an opinion thing on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse instead of doing a review for it. If I had to review it, I'd give it probably like a 9.5 out of 10. It's one of the best movies of the year. Hands down. You can try to argue with it. It is even as a non-superhero Sony Marvel movie, it was a really fantastic movie. So instead of doing a traditional review, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be doing just a discussion on what I really liked about it. Maybe I would say I'd do something that I didn't like about it, but there was really nothing I didn't dislike. Now, in this, I did this whole rabbit hole thing where I looked at different reviews because we're a growing channel and I'm trying to figure out different ways to do things and just try to be different. So I decided to look at Rotten Tomatoes reviews on this movie, and I looked at both the critic people and the audience, and man, is it it's not as problematic, we'll call it, as YouTube can be. There's a lot of people that didn't really like. I want to address some of the things. In my point of view, I guess I would be considered an audience. I'm not an educated man. I'm not a formally educated man. I grew up on the mean streets of Long Island, or Strong Island, for you CrossFitters that are better than everybody else. But this is my opinion, being an also biracial human being. I am half Hispanic, I'm half Guatemalan. Yo hablo español, pero no perfecto, entonces no hablo demasiado. I'm not going to subtitle that, just wanted to prove to you guys that I do speak Spanish with a real, American, whatever, accent. Anyway, so I want to talk about how much I really love this movie simply because seeing Spider-Man, Miles Morales being half Hispanic, half black, was just cool to see a different hero. It's just something that I'll say the majority of the world doesn't know how it feels not being able to see themselves in every single movie and every character and every job. It's nice seeing some more representation, but in this case, and this is the crux of what the point I'm trying to make, this movie didn't really force it. As many people that were saying, and I saw some of these reviews, and some of these guys are just, and I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry if you're young, just pieces of shit that just see a main hero being or looking black and just immediately assuming that that's what the entire movie is about. There was not pushing an agenda. People think that every single movie is just pushing agendas. And I really do like that this movie wasn't really pushing. I mean, I am Hispanic, I'm not black. And the only parts of it where he showed how Hispanic he is was 2 scenes. And I still loved it. When he was speaking to his mom and they were talking in Spanish and I heard the way he spoke Spanish, it just made me smile. Because that's how it is growing up with another language in a different world. And just seeing his dynamic even in school, being the fish out of water because he's in this it's every little thing, even down to his family dynamic with his relatives, is just so different. And it just feels more real, especially it's New York. It's very diverse in New York. Everywhere you go, seeing all of that, it was so beautiful and wonderful. And so the reviewers that say that it was shoved in your face, to me, I argue, I think you would have said it no matter what. If it was a Muslim person, if it was a woman, you guys, these channels, they tend to just see a character, and then when the movie starts and they see the person's face and they're like, he doesn't look like me, somebody's trying to make me feel bad, so I'm going to shut down for this entire movie. That's what it feels like sometimes, especially with these guys, the way they talk. Now, the other thing I want to talk about this movie is straight up, I was teared up. I was choking up a lot in this movie. It was very emotional. It was fantastic. I loved it so much, start to finish. But this one part that really got me, and no, it's not the Stan Lee cameo, which I'm not going to ruin, although it was pretty upsetting. You see, and I'm sure the title is spoilers, so just some spoilers. You actually see what would happen if one, but definitively, you see a Spider-Man die. And you see the reaction of the public and everything. And the way he dies is so it made me feel so it felt like it's one of the weirdest things I've seen in a movie in a while, where you get the main characters, sometimes you get the stomach turn or the jolt of something in your adrenaline or whatever it is when you see your character get hurt, or when they kill a character off in Game of Thrones or something. But Peter Parker, him dying and then him going to watching the funeral and the people all dressed up and celebrating him, and just it was something that it was insane. And it's of course, with Stan Lee's recent passing, it's just crazy, and it obviously makes sense why like it was extra like emotionally packed, because I mean he was the one of the people that created it, and it was just such an amazing movie. And I honestly feel like this was, and I can agree, and I even said this out loud. I said this is better than Infinity War. I really find it hard to not try and say that this is the best Marvel, including MCU movie in general. I have not felt this like happy, stupid look on my face watching this, and just the jokes that they made. Surprising that it was PG, but even the Disney Pixar movies, like those are so emotional for like the grown-ups and stuff like that are watching too, because they understand more than like the kids. But this movie, there was something different about it. There was a real heart, and it was just so amazing. And just to see some of these reviewers not even seeing the point, it just drives me absolutely insane. Like, one could argue, yeah, like you're pushing agendas or this blah blah, like, but at the end of the day, this movie not only is for everybody, it also is for kids, and this does teach you a lot of great lessons if you're a kid. And I say this a lot when it comes to I did a Wreck-It Ralph review, which I never released because I just kept messing up and then I got lazy. These movies are made for young people to watch, and it's basically like they're almost their version of comic books. These are just media that people make and want to teach lessons. I mean, you see interviews with the filmmakers, not like just the actors, the filmmakers, saying that they wanted to show you and convey a message that also Stan Lee had conveyed as well. The second you decide to be a good person, it makes you a superhero. Like, being a superhero isn't just the mask. Being just doing the right thing is a great thing. And I think that's a beautiful message, and I think that a lot of kids should learn it. I personally learned that lesson through Marvel Comics as growing up when I was younger. Granted, now I don't really take too many lessons from video games and stuff, but it's just a beautiful movie. And like I said, I didn't feel like reviewing it because there was nothing bad to really talk about the movie. Really nothing. I mean, the other thing that people touched on was the animation, but even animation in movies, I mean, do you want perfect every single time? Like, people were mad that this animation, because of the different animation styles that they grabbed from different like time periods and comic books and stuff, they were mad because it didn't look good. But my argument is maybe it wasn't supposed to look perfect because it was 6 dimensions crossing over with one another, and also bringing it was never going to look perfect. But that's the thing, like, they don't want to convey a perfect world. They showed a broken up from a family issues. Like, they showed the cracks underneath the surface of every single thing, and basically the art style was included in that, on top of like the city being all screwed up with everything going on. Personally, I mean, I don't know if that's what they felt, but that's what I understood from that. The worlds aren't perfect, and there was just they were demonstrating chaos, and when the screen got all crazy and buggy, maybe it was on purpose. I doubt that they would make a film so purposely broken, you know. And people saying like, oh, and this comes down to people just being straight up babies about stuff. This comes to people that they see somebody who is different than them, or sometimes not even different, just they believe that they look at the agenda before they look at the movie, and immediately like start nitpicking. The rest of the movie, you're just going to be sitting there rooting against him and keeping your mind shut to these things. So my thing with this video is for the reviewers to understand that when you review a movie, yes, it's your opinion, but try to look globally. If I had gone to school and maybe focused and did well in high school and beyond, maybe I could become somebody that can do a review properly and really just try to like watch a movie. Like, if I was a reviewer, a real reviewer, I wouldn't just watch a movie like this and criticize an agenda. I would look at the effects of what it could do for younger people watching it, what it could even teach me, or the fact that this is a movie that was so amazing, and it's also like the 15th million version of Spider-Man. And it's the most fun and very, very comic accurate. What I liked is just like, he wasn't even like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Miles wasn't even like Peter in some ways. All the Spider-Man, all they did, the only real personality or anything they had in common, even though they were all completely different, was that when it came time, they were all, A, ready to put their lives on the line, and B, they were just ready. Like, they kept saying, like, when you fall, you always get back up. And they all shared a detail like that. So if you sit there and you look at something beautiful and something so wonderful as a message, or as like just cinematography in general like that, and you can sit there and talk about how it's just about pushing an agenda, then you don't deserve to be a reviewer. That line, that perfect, like, people that just want to be contrarian, anybody that just doesn't like and I don't like reviewers that are like that. This movie clearly was not, it was obviously made somewhat for me, a nerd. I was going to see it regardless, even if it was rated G. don't care. It is for younger people, and this is a great lesson. It's not about learning about anything. Like, a lot of these Disney movies have so many messages, which are all great, but they don't, like, this is a message about, like, each kid individually. This is a lesson that every single kid can learn. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So you guys want to put your agendas in front of it. You guys want to make it political and then accuse everybody else of being political. You know, do you. You're going to do what you're going to do regardless. I'm a guy that's going to get maybe 10 views on this video if I'm lucky. You know, if I'm being honest. But this is my opinion. You guys get to serve your stupid ass opinion that I really don't like when it comes to reviews. Going forward, comment down below if you liked what I had to say. This was all an opinion, my opinion specifically. I just felt like venting. As I said before, if I was going to review this movie, I would have given it a 9.5 out of 10. It was beautiful. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. This was just a weird, off-the-cuff, improvise. I didn't write anything down. My note thing, cell phone is not even on. This is just me speaking off the cuff. Just winging it. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, be nerds, not dicks.